This is Pramit from Digital Mafia Talkies. And I have watched Animalia and the short film that it is based on. And as a huge sci-fi fan, I like both of them. So my first question to you
Thank
is
you
that,
so much.
yeah, and my first question to you is that what was the process of turning a short film like So What If the Goats Die into a feature-length film like Animalia?
Well, at the beginning, I have an idea of a feature film, but it was so complicated to convince people in Europe and even in Morocco to, just to say, okay, I want to make a movie in the mountain about a shepherd who faced supernatural, face an alien invasion. It was really complicated because we have a really historical the history of cinema in the Arab countries and even in Europe is always about realistical movie. So when you have this supernatural elements, it was really complicated to convince people to convince producer. So I really needed to make a short, and actually that's why I co-produced my movie, the short story, because I I found no one. So it's like, okay, if no one want to produce me, I'm gonna start my production company. So that's why I did that. And after, of course, I met an amazing French producer who has the same age, um, and who just wanted to have new, fresh movies and voices to defend. So that's why we made the short. And because the short has the success in Sundance, we won the grand prize. It has helped to finance the first feature film, and so Animalia could not have existed in this European Moroccan co-production without the short. And um, I was grateful also because of the success of the short, I could have also the possibility, also because I was also the co-producer, to make Animalia with a lot of freedom. And it's something really important and for a first feature film, because even if there is failure in the movie, because it's always a first feature film, there is I tried stuff. I think I I I tested stuff that I'm really proud of it, because it's um it's it's an Arab movie, but it's not in a way. So I'm really happy to have had the opportunity to make this film.
And something that I found very interesting about your film is that in most sci-fi films, the writers usually find a way to bring in a scientist because that makes sense. But in your short film, the protagonist is a shepherd, and in Animalia, it is a pregnant mother. So, what was the
Yeah.
thought process behind telling your story through those perspectives?
Well, first, I love sci-fi movie. I love, I think that maybe Animal in a way is people watch Animal, and even if they're sort of say, oh, but we used to have those alien invasion, but in the US and big city, European cities. And I was like, yeah, but I live in Morocco and I'm a woman, and I have this way of living here. So, and I'm watching this movie from abroad, but in a way, if there's an alien invasion, it would be worldwide. Just so to bring this alien invasion in Morocco was something that was really important to me. So for me, this shepherd is yeah, it was really important. And a young pregnant woman. After the short, I wanted just to write a story with this woman perspective, because I had many stuff to say as a woman in this traditional Moroccan society. So it was really important to me to bring a the female perspective.
And your shift in this perspective, because father is a character in the short film as well as in the feature film, but that shift in the perspective also makes your commentary on the classism more prominent. So I'm interested to know what was the thought process behind like changing the perspective from Fawad to Ito.
Well, actually, I love working with Fuad. So for me, it was, and when I meet someone, it's about a human connection. So when I meet him, we talk a lot about class, about God, about religion, about money, And of course, Morocco, it's a country where there is really, really rich people, and there is really poor people. And those people, and it's completely different world. You can come in Casablanca and live, and you have a hotel in Marrakesh that they are, really fancy with those restaurants. You can spend $1,000 dollar for a pasta, in Morocco. But at the same time, people in Montaigne are earning $1,000, per month. So for me, it's the journey of Ito is also a journey through Morocco, through the dynamic of class. Yeah.
And I find religious like disillusionment a topic that is very tricky. So what were some of the challenges that you faced while talking about religion through an alien invasion?
Um, it was tricky. I mean, but I think the thing is that I'm just questioning, I am no one to tell the truth. And I
Mhm.
think the way that I just want to question society, spirituality, it's just question. So people who just want to, and the film was released in the Arab country. I've been in Saudi, I've been in Malaysia, in countries where really, like, I mean, you can say, oh my God, this movie could not, could not be in a theatrical release, but it was. And I had deep, 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 deep conversation with people in places where you cannot imagine. So I mean, where there is people just want to question, and I think everyone is questioning themselves. But if you're open to question, to your own beliefs, to your own dogma, and your own path, I think Animalia is a film for you. If you're not interested, I think maybe you can be, I don't know, you could not understand maybe the movie because you're not in this path of questioning yourself, maybe.
Also, I think in addition to religion, you are also talking about a bit of environmentalism because you are showing it passing the spirit of the aliens passing from the dogs to the sheep to the
Yeah.
birds. So what was that all about?
Well, the animals was it's a prison that was really important to me to bring in the movie because, as you say about individualism, we have this rich family in the beginning, but they say they are religious, in a way, but they are living their life in a really individualist way. You have this green, and I love working with symbol. I love working with setting, and I remember there's an image, a frame of the movie where you can see the garden. It's really green, really, and there's this nice pool, and all around it is this desert. So how you can be? I mean, how you can be? How you say you're religious, but at the same time, how you could be spiritual if you're disconnected to your environment, to the people who are living in your country, to the animals, to everything, because everything is important. But
And
you're
yeah,
using it for your money and to grow your money. So it was about questioning that, and animals are really important. We thought for a very very long time that animals were just stupid, but they have emotions, and even the trees in the forest, the trees are connected to each other. They are talking to each other. So we know nothing about our environment, but we think we know everything. So yeah, definitely it was really important to bring animals and environment in the first how can I say, I couldn't say that, yeah, to bring in to give them an importance.
and what's the trick to getting a good performance from a dog? Because that dog seemed to have some acting
Oh,
lessons.
yeah, it was really complicated. Actually, I just say that to another journalist. I say, oh my God, it was. I was a bit naive in making Animalia because I was like, okay, I'm gonna have ducks, sheep, and sadana, but where I was in Morocco, and they were not professional dogs and professional sheep, so it was just magic sometimes, just magic. There's this frame in the movie where the sheep is hugging my main character, but I remember I was completely depressed. I was like, the sheep will never hug my main actress. I'm so stupid to have written this stupid movie. How could I? And actually, the sheep came and just did this, and I have one shot of it. And sometimes it was the mess because the dog, just did stupid things, and we managed. But we have. I'm not saying that for all the animals, because I was really grateful to have the main the main dog. The main dog is the dog that we bring from France, and it was a professional actor actually, but the other were not. But for this one, it was great. He was better than actor sometimes.
That's great. And the final scene is like one of the most overwhelming scenes I've ever seen in a sci-fi movie. So because all the themes and emotions are all clashing, plus there's a huge crowd and it's all really claustrophobic. So how did you like pull that off?
I knew I wanted to make the scene, but at the same time, I didn't have the budget for it. And I didn't want to fake an American movie. It's like, okay, we're going to make an American movie. I make this movie with different influences, this documentary approach, this really aesthetic approach. So it's about working and create a mariage between different way of working that I love. So for the scene in the mosque, for example, I remember we knew we didn't have budget for a lot of people, but at the same time, I say, okay, even if we had money, I think I would have filmed the same way, with this documentary approach, because we're not American, and even if I make a film in the US, I feel like it was really exciting to create those scenes, but with this handshake camera to create. So even in the setting, even during the shooting, it was completely the mess. Every shot was completely different, but it was like a documentary, in a way, because in documentary you cannot have the same angle, you cannot have the same. So it was. I completely accept that. I embrace that, and I remember the DOP was completely stressed about that, because the frame focus. But I loved when the frame focus is, there is this unstable image, because this is the truth. Now we're facing something that might be the truth of, and I'm just trying, when I'm working and as a filmmaker, to create big stories, big ideas with invasion and stuff, but trying to make it really real, and the default of a frame is something that is really important to make it real in a way.
And my final question to you is that regardless of where people stand in terms of religious and theism and atheism, like what is one takeaway that you want them to have after watching Animalia?
I didn't get the question, I'm sorry.
Like I wanted to know that regardless of what people think about religion, what is the one takeaway that you want people to have? Like what one opinion you want people to have after watching Animalia? What do you hope to inspire among them?
I mean, I just hope that they would question their own way of living this life. I mean, with all the stuff we're facing, we think we know the truth, but we don't know at all, and we have this short life, and this and and it's so good to deconstruct your own beliefs, your own education sometimes, just trying to understand things better, because we are so many human beings this planet thinking so differently, and we don't know anything.
All right. I think that's all the time I have. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and all the best for your movie, and I'll be looking forward to anything you do in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.